Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm back in my G20, and in this vid I'm hoping to give you guys my kind of a 1 year ownership review. So yeah, kind of consider it like a review of my G20 for the last year that I've owned the car. If you guys are considering buying one of these cars in the not so distant future, so you might find this vid like kind of useful for that. So for those of you that are new to the channel, what I'll do now is quickly give you a quick walk around of the car. I have done quite a lot of content on this car anyway, so there is more in-depth kind of spec talk and whatnot over the last year that I've already done on this, but I will give you a quick walk around of the car, and also in this vid I'll talk you through some of the squeaks and rattles and how I've kind of fixed them. So yeah, let's go and do that right now. So this is my G20 that I've had for about a year, and I absolutely love this car, like the way it's finished off. So the paintwork here is the mineral white. The car is quite dirty, but it has like a kind of a little fleck. It's metallic paint, so in certain shades it is white and in certain shades it kind of looks like grey, but yeah, it's probably the colour that I would go for over the Alpine white. My M4 is Alpine white, and this is quite a different colour to that. The car features two main styling packs. One is the M Sport Plus pack, which obviously gives you the bigger wheels, the 19-inch wheels, and it also has the bigger brake caliper setup as well. So in my opinion, the M Sport Plus pack gives the car the look that it deserves, and it gives you like the kind of black grille and the privacy glass around the back end. On the inside, excuse all my kit there, you get a stripe, the M stripe in the seat belts, which is a feature of the M Sport Plus pack, and also you get the adaptive suspension. So all the styling features that you can see on the car, like the front splitter, the side skirts down here, and the side decal, the black side mirrors, and the gloss black spoiler on the back, and the diffuser, I've had all that put on myself. So over the years since I've owned the car, I've obviously had all the body kit fitted to the car, like the M Performance rear diffuser, side skirts, front splitter, and the spoiler on the boot. And I've also had the car lowered. Now, a lot of you guys over the year, over the content that I've been putting out, have kind of commented on that side decal right there. Now, I admit it's not everyone's cup of tea. A year ago when I got the car, I had that fitted at the dealer, and the reason for that was that I wanted the car to be set off like the way it is now. So I was going to have it lowered, spaced, and all the kit on it. And for you guys out there, I kind of thought, if this car's going to be like a feature on my channel, I want to have it so that all the kit's on the car. And I thought that by having all the kit on the car, even with the decal, it gives you guys a kind of an idea of what the car would look like with all of the kit on it, especially having it lowered and everything. So I kind of think that it's there for a purpose. I personally do like it because I kind of think it makes like the car look a little bit more kind of sporty, but I appreciate that it's not everyone's cup of tea. So a year ago I knew what my vision was going to be on this car, and I've kind of achieved that with it now. So that decal's not going to really go anywhere on this car, because I think for me it is part of the car right now. So recently quite a few G20 owners have been DMing me on my Instagram, which I'll drop down here. So if you want to get in touch, definitely check me out on my Instagram, check my page out as well. Now, a lot of the DMs I've been getting about this car have been around like squeaks and rattles, and yes, I have had a squeak and a rattle coming from the rear end of the car, and I'll tell you exactly what that is. And again, I had that issue about probably a couple of months ago, and rather than getting the car booked into a dealership and whatnot, I kind of narrowed it down, and I've been quite happy with how it's kind of worked out for me, and the kind of fix that I've done. So I'll show you exactly what that is, and if you do find this useful, then definitely give like the vid like a like, just on this basis, if that's something that you are experiencing and you don't know where it's coming from. So I'll show you exactly where that is. So the squeak from the rear, if I just pop the boot up, there's nothing dodgy in here. Those are my driving sandals, yes. Right, so the squeak that you get from the rear, a lot of people will say it's the parcel shelf, but it's not. It's this weather stripping here. Now let me just shut the boot down a second, and I'll show you exactly what it is. So where you get the boot, it meets the kind of strip right underneath there. In some conditions, I'm not sure whether it's like heat or whether it gets cold or whatnot, but this weather strip down here starts to dry up. Now you could use a bit of oil or a bit of liquid or lubricant or whatever it might be to obviously lubricate that for it to stop squeaking against it, but it's a bit of a temporary fix. What I've done is, as you can see, I've used a kind of a textured tape that goes over it. BMW will either remove this, and I'm not really sure what that would do, It is a weather strip, it's there for a purpose. On some cars, you know, they've kind of removed it. What I've done is I've used a Gorilla Tape over that, and that has actually fixed the kind of squeaks. So what I've used here is the Gorilla Tape. You can get that from Halfords, you can get it pretty much anywhere, even eBay. And I've just cut it to size and just applied it over here. It's quite hard wearing, it is quite strong, and following that, no more squeaks from the rear, parcel shelf or anything like that. I was going a bit crazy. Let me just get back in the frame. I was going a bit crazy because I really hate, you know, squeaks and rattles from not only this car but pretty much anything. Like even my Mini, I mean, okay, that's a 17-year-old car, and yes, that squeaks and rattles, and that's part of the parcel with that car, I suppose. But with like my M4 or even this, any like sort of small rattle or squeak, it's kind of hard to tune out of. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to be living with any squeaks or rattles coming from a car that looks as good as this. So if you have got that squeak coming up, sort it out like the way I have. Give this video a like if it's going to help you even for that point. So right now what we're going to do is just get in the car and take you for the drive and give you my 1 year's ownership review and continue the vid on those country lanes. So before I continue with the vid, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing, because that helps me out massively and keeps me motivated. And also guys, just for reference, all ad revenue that's generated through the channel is 100% donated to charity. So over the last 1 year of ownership, I'll tell you exactly how I have found this car. Yes, it's had its kind of issues, it's had its kind of breakdowns, and more recently again guys, you know, I'm sure you've been following the channel when the car's iDrive system went into a meltdown because I was updating it and the car got towed away to the dealership. Apart from those issues, yes, it's not ideal when you're stranded for like say, you know, 8 hours of the day waiting for a recovery and, you know, the whole kind of process. But the car has been faultless from like say the way the car drives. I've never ever got out of the car and not looked back at it or kind of felt the car that, you know, it's just like a machine that gets you from A to B. Having said that, I'm not saying that it's a car that I would want to keep forever, but from the current sort of crop of cars, it's pretty damn good. I would easily buy this over like say, you know, the current C-Class or the Audi A4. I just feel that this car in itself is quite a connected car, like, you know, with all the tech that it's got and the way this thing drives as well. I mean, I've enjoyed pretty much every mile of ownership of this car. Every time I got behind the wheel, it is quite an engaging chassis, and the engines, you know, whatever engines that you go for, depending on your kind of lifestyle, you will actually enjoy. Recently I was out in a 320i, which was a courtesy car from BMW. Yes, it's a petrol unit, it's a 4-part. It was decent, it had decent performance, but I think I'm just used to like say driving the 320 diesel where you've got a lot of that torque like quite low down. This thing is quite effortless to drive with the 320. If that was me going out and buying one of them, I'd probably skip that one and go for the 330i, because then you're getting the same kind of torque figures as this. But that's just my opinion, you know, after like a short kind of stint in that. But this particular model and my car, if you're looking at it like say from a ownership sort of perspective, it is quite faultless. The engine is quite strong, you know, even when the car's fully laden, you know, you can comfortably drive this car, you know, get it up to speed without having to kick down or stick the car into sports mode and whatnot. So it is, like I say, it's pretty much all the car that, you know, anyone can, you know, actually want really, because, and I've said that enough times, and the reason I say that is the engine's strong, the car's got a lot of like say performance for the type of engine, 400 newton meters of torque, quite low down, you know, that's quite impressive, and also, you know, it's quite efficient as well. So I'm genuinely getting, you know, well over 40 miles per gallon, you know, and that's pretty much most of the time like urban driving. When you're pushing it out like on, you know, like the motorway or driving it up and down the country, you can expect to see like say, you know, anything 56 to 60 mpg upwards, or depending on like your driving style. In terms of refinement, this has got to be up there in terms of refinement from most of the cars that I've actually owned. The front end, like the front windscreen, the side windows, they're acoustic glazing, so you don't really get a lot of outside noise like portraying through into the cabin. Especially being a diesel unit, the last thing I want to be hearing is the diesel gruff. Having said that, this unit is fairly quiet compared to some of the diesels that I've been in as well, so that kind of helps, like, you know, the whole kind of refinement in this car. You can have the radio on, you can be having the conversation and be traveling you know, at motorway speeds as well, and it doesn't feel like, you know, you're talking over like the radio or raising your voice, you know. And that's quite important, because when you're buying a car like this, you don't want it to feel like it's like a cheap hatchback, you know, and that type of refinement. You want it to feel like it's a quality product, and this clearly is. Yes, like there you might have heard like a bit of engine noise as I'm pulling away. That is like, that's just normal, you know, that's like the same as it would be in pretty much most other diesels out there. But on the go, this car is very refined. When I had the car lowered as well and spaced out, it's really just set the car off. In my opinion, it just looks spot on, and the amount of compliments that I've got from, you know, people that see this car on the road, you know, they take pictures of it and send it to me on my Instagram if they're following me. And, you know, it's just amazing how this car has turned out to be quite striking looking from quite striking from the way it looks over the year that I've owned it. So, you know, every like few months I've done something to it, and I've done it because I didn't want to keep this car stock in terms of its looks. It looks at the factory, it looks quite, you know, kind of aggressive anyway, and what I've just done to it is just made it a little bit more kind of like aggressive and a bit more striking, and especially by dropping the car on IBACs, it's just really set the car off absolutely amazingly. Let's talk about the running costs of this particular model. So this is the 320 diesel. Just give you some headline numbers. Out of the factory, around about 190 horsepower. We had it dynoed, it was producing like 195, just over 400 newton meters of torque. I think it was like 420 on the dyno. From factory it's about 400. So, you know, it's quite a punchy unit to start off with. So in terms of running costs, all I'm going to talk to you guys there is about the road fund license and like fuel costs, because the insurance, well, that's just a postcode lottery really. So I can give you like how much I pay for insurance, doesn't mean that's going to be the same for you guys. There's loads of factors that go into it, so I'm going to leave that out. When you go for the M Sport Plus pack, you get a bigger fuel tank, which I think is a must, because I think they usually come with like a 40 litre tank, which will mean that you're always filling up. This one comes with like a, I think it's a 60 litre or a 59 litre tank, so it's a bigger tank. So, you know, when you're filling up with diesel, it's going to give you like, well, it's going to cost you something in the region of about say 65 to 70 pounds to fuel up, and on the full tank that's going to give you over 400 real miles of driving. That all depends on how your driving style is and what you're driving, but like I said before, I'm genuinely like getting like over 40 mpg like locally and over 60 on the motorway, and that's again real calculated figures. So it is quite fuel efficient, especially when you kind of like look at it from a point of how much power this thing has got as well, and how it drives. Because yes, numbers are one thing, but it has to translate into how it puts that power down and how it feels on the road. So I'm genuinely like, you know, impressed with the way this thing goes. In terms of road tax, it's quite pricey, because in the UK the road fund license to use your car on the road is based on how much the car's list price is. So for the 5 years, if you go for the M Sport Plus pack and you go for the Tech pack, which again in my opinion those are the packs that you really need on the car to make the car feel totally complete, it will push the retail price of the car over £40,000, regardless of what you've paid at the dealer or what you've paid as a used car. And for 5 years, your road tax is based on that, and it'll cost you, well, I've just renewed it, £465 for the first 5 years of ownership, which is quite a bit, but it is what it is, and I really wouldn't have this car in any other way. After 5 years, that price of road tax will drop down to about £150, which is more manageable. But that is what it is. So the road tax is quite expensive, but kind of think of it as a point, the running cost of this car is actually not too bad. So the chassis is very playful. It is quite a joy to drive this car on these country lanes. I usually swap between this and my M4 on these country lanes, and sometimes I come out here in the day in my M4, and then in the evening I'm back here driving this you know, just because it is quite playful. It goes around these corners and the bends in the road, it holds onto them. You can even get the back end out as well, you know, if you really push it. There's a nice M4 there. That sound was off a motorbike though. So I'll give you my one final thought about what this ownership has been like in the 1 year that I've owned the car. I've had my M4 as well for the same period of time, exactly a year. And my final thought is that if I had to get rid of one of the cars, whether it's this or the M4 for whatever reason, I'd probably hold on to this and let the M4 go. And the reason for that is that this car for me has got enough power, it's got the space, it's frugal enough, and it's pretty much all the car, like I say, anybody can, you know, actually ask for, because of those three things, regardless of what guise that you go for. So for me, this ticks pretty much all the boxes. The M4 is quite a toy that I've obviously owned for like the last year. So yeah, it's pretty much all the car that you can ask for. Now earlier on when I said that this chassis is quite playful, I'll show you what I mean by that. You can actually get the back end out. Let's see if I can do it here. When you want, you can stick the car into sports mode, take the traction off as well, and you can get this car quite sideways and have quite a bit of fun in it. So guys, if you have found this video useful, then definitely give it a like, share and subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below. If you guys have just placed an order for your G20, or you're waiting delivery, or you're considering getting one of these cars, whether it's a G20 or the G21, trust me guys, you are not going to be disappointed. I've enjoyed every single mile of driving this car over the course of the last year since I've owned it, and I'm sure that you guys will as well as soon as you get yours. Hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.